Nowadays, it says that there are more than 1 million hikikomori in Japan. Hikikomori has become an English word and it is regarded as part of Japanese culture. Recently, middle-aged hikikomori have increased rapidly and there is an issue called the 80-50 problem, which means 80 years old parents have to take care of 50 years old hikikomori kids. And every year, there are more than 10,000 new hikikomori, but only 1,000 people move on. By that I mean move out. The number of new hikikomori and the retention rate is higher than Japanese venture companies. The average retention term for hikikomori is 13 years. Japan creates a lot of new hikikomori every year and most of them become unicorn hikikomori. So today I'll talk about hikikomori in Japan. Meshida jokes about Japan. Hey guys, it's Meshida. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm a comedian and I introduce funny Japanese culture. If you are interested in that, please subscribe to my channel and check out my Patreon page. Meshida. I'll start with the definition of hikikomori. First, people who are stuck in their house for more than 6 months without any social relationships except their families. Social relationships refer to not only school and the workplace, but also friends and partners. Of course, two-dimensional partners are not included. Basically, hikikomori have only relationship with their family and they usually don't have friends. They are shut-ins and don't participate in society. For the family, having a hikikomori kid is like owning a fish in a tank. They feed it but cannot interact with it at all. It's never in their living room. They cannot even show it off to guests. And usually, family and relatives are ashamed of their hikikomori kid and worry about how people would see them. So they don't ask third parties for help and try to fix the problem by themselves. As a result, their family also become shut-ins and fall into a hikikomori spiral. Second, the reason why they become hikikomori is not because of a mental disorder. Hikikomori is not a disease. It's a circumstance, the same as being homeless. They don't have any mental disease, but they need help sometimes. It's said family-oriented countries have many hikikomori, for example, Japan, South Korea, and Italy. On the other hand, individualistic countries and poor countries don't have a hikikomori. In those countries, they are independent, so they become homeless. Meshida. Almost 20 years ago, hikikomori was a problem among young people. At that time, 90% of hikikomori were people who refused to go to school. That's why hikikomori was regarded as an adolescent problem. But nowadays, hikikomori is not only a problem for teenagers, but also middle-aged people. The Japanese Cabinet Office reported that there are almost 610,000 middle-aged hikikomori aged between 40 to 64 years old in Japan. It's not that the young hikikomori generation grew up and became middle-aged. Surprisingly, it was revealed that 57.4% of middle-aged hikikomori became hikikomori when they were over 40 years old. So, our Japanese government had a breakthrough solution to take measures to combat middle-aged hikikomori. Before, in Japan, young was defined as until 34 years old, but now it has become until 39 years old, and in the future, it might change it to 44 years old. So then, we can reduce the numbers of middle-aged hikikomori. In Japan, young people are also getting older. By the way, it also says that many families who have a hikikomori try to hide them from society. So, there are actually way more hikikomori in Japan. And the research says that the reasons why middle-aged people became hikikomori was retirement, illness, difficulty with human relations, and not getting used to the workplace. Japanese 40 years young people also have an adolescent problem. They are in a difficult growing period as they become old people. They are also still virgins.
Meshida.
There is a symbol of the hikikomori problem in Japan, and it is called the 80-50 problem. As a result of being hikikomori until middle age, now 80 years old parents have to take care of 50 years old kids. The cabinet research says that among middle-aged hikikomori, only 30% of them make a living by themselves. Other hikikomori rely on their family or welfare from the government. Being hikikomori must pay better than being comedian. It says that the more a country matures, the more the people become immature. So now, all over the world agree. I think that Japan must be most mature country. Aging hikikomori often suffer a lonely death or death from emaciation. There was a sad incident in Japan where after an old mother died alone in her home, a hikikomori middle-aged daughter died from emaciation because she didn't know how to survive. After their old parents die, many middle-aged hikikomori don't know how to live by themselves and they don't know how to receive welfare from the government. And more than anything, they avoid going out and socializing with people. So, these middle-aged hikikomori may be stuck in their house and die from emaciation alone. But if all middle-aged hikikomori receive welfare from the government, our Japanese social insurance system may collapse. So, for our government, it seems that it's better for hikikomori to remain stuck in their houses. Then, we can provide social insurance to non-hikikomori old people. Hikikomori are protecting our pension plans.
Meshida.
Sometimes a hikikomori commits murder and the media focuses on reporting that the criminal was hikikomori. So, hikikomori are seen as potential criminals. But in fact, hikikomori are not antisocial. They are asocial. So, the crime rate is very low compared to non-hikikomori people. The most common reason why they become hikikomori is school bullying or having interpersonal troubles at the workplace. They are not afraid of outside of their house. They are afraid of Japanese society. In Japan, if you cannot read the atmosphere or read the room, you cannot get along with the community or society. And those people are regarded as strange or having a mental disorder. So, they don't get used to their community and are then stuck in their house. They long to be American because what Japan calls a mental disorder, America calls normal. South Korea is also known for having many hikikomori, but compared to Japanese hikikomori, South Korean hikikomori play online games a lot and communicate with other people on the internet. On the other hand, Japanese hikikomori spend a lot of time playing TV games or watching videos. More than anything, Japanese hikikomori prefer to do nothing but lay down in bed. They shut themselves away from not only the real world, but also non-real world. So, Japanese hikikomori are authentic, traditional hikikomori. It says that many Japanese hikikomori worry about doing nothing and being hikikomori, but they don't have the courage to work and socialize with other people. I know how they feel. Spending all day just lazing around is really a pain because as a comedian, I'm always out of work. Currently, greedy organizations which pretend to be NGOs or companies and try to save hikikomori and provide them with rehabilitation services have increased. They persuade the parents that the reason why their kids became hikikomori was simply weakness or laziness. Then they take hikikomori kids to a dormitory and don't allow them to have a phone or wallet, to isolate them from the outside world. It seems they only change the place where they are hikikomori. And the awful thing is that they don't provide any good rehabilitation or care. Then, even though they cannot help the hikikomori, they claim huge payments from their parents. Some hikikomori cannot put up with their poor surroundings and they escape from the dormitory by themselves without anyone's help. By accident, the companies sometimes help the hikikomori go outside and talk to people.
飯だ
The number of hikikomori that the cabinet office reported was almost 1 million, but some experts pointed out that there are more hikikomori in Japan because most of them are hidden by their families. So they say, in fact, there are almost 2 million hikikomori in Japan. If countries are interested in the basic income system, they should look to Japan. Some families have been giving a basic income to their kids for almost 20 years. As you already know, we have a huge amount of data and it shows that if Japan introduces a basic income, everyone would become hikikomori.
飯だ
Thank you very much for watching this video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel and please check out my Patreon too. So see you soon. Bye bye.